Yo, what's up guys? Everybody reacting to Food Theory. Yeah, that's right. I'm back with more reactions. That's right. Jaden is back. He's finally doing reactions. The thing is, my OBS wasn't working for like a month, so I didn't do reactions. But now I got a new editing software. It's super great, professional, everything. I'm deleting. I deleted OBS. Woo! I didn't. OBS was easy. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to stream with my webcam. But who cares really? But I'm back with more reaction videos. And today we're going to be reacting to, I was about to say SML because I was reacting to them, but we're going to get back to those very soon. Food Theory, is Subway bread actually cake? Now you might know, behind these glasses, it's Jaden, a real life human being. 13 years old. Lives in Washington. No, I'm joking. I don't live in Washington. In the hottest place on earth, Cali. Now, I want you to tell me. I want to tell you something. I've loved Subway. I love Subway. I eat there all the time. I will tell you my Subway sandwich at the end of the video. But, my first job is actually supposed to be Subway. I've been counting all the Subways near me. There's a bunch of them around. I'm not going to say how many they are. I can't remember. But I've written down. And it's a ton. Like, apparently, California loves Subway because there's like 38,000. No, more than that. There's like millions of Subways. And even Subways where I don't live, but I could still take like a 20-minute drive to get. And that's not too bad for getting to work. So, if their bread is supposedly cake, which I don't believe, does that make a dessert? Huh. Remember Jared from Subway? Stranger danger. Let's just get into the video.
Here's a fun fact.
Okay,
the
fun fact.
foot-long sandwich is actually a foot long. That might seem obvious, but it wasn't always that way. Back in 2013, there was a viral photo of someone who took a tape measure to a Subway sandwich to show that it was actually only 11 inches in length.
Sad.
Which led Subway to hilarious.
You got the worst Subway. He has black olives. If you put olives on anything, get out. No, I'm joking. You could like olives, but in my opinion, I don't like olives. I used to put tomatoes on my sandwich, but I don't anymore. My sandwich is actually white bread. Yeah, you thought I was gonna say at the end, but no, I'm gonna tell you right now because if you're watching right now, you're a real person. So you're an MVP for your guy. You're already here. But my Subway sandwich is 6-inch white bread, ham, bacon, spinach, American cheese, toasted. Now the thing is, what makes it complicated is that you have to toast the whole sandwich except the cheese. The cheese you put in the little bag. They have tiny little bags for cookies. You put it in the cookie bag and give it to me. I wait for it to cool down, and then I put the cheese on because I don't like. They always give me, whenever I don't have a toasted, cold bacon. Like, do you think I want cold bacon? No. No cold bacon. Out of my house if you like cold bacon. I'm joking. You can like whatever you want. I'm not trying to get canceled.
Even though they had explicitly
2020, cancel everything. You said your favorite color was cyan and not black.
And as of 2015, Subway now requires that franchisees measure the bread that they serve to ensure that when you order a foot-long or 6-inch sub, you're actually getting a 12-inch long or 6-inch long sub. Fortunately, that's all behind them. Surely Subway isn't hiding any other lies from us that might.
Breaking news. Subway's sandwich bread is not bread at all.
It's not even serving bread.
Subway's bread is actually too sugary to meet the definition of bread.
Folks, I think we got ourselves a Food Theory episode.
Too sugar? Oh, so it's too but there's sugar in the bread? But the thing is, there's tons of sugar in bread. Like, have you never had like sweet bread, like pumpkin bread? Like, I just had pumpkin bread. It was good. There's different types of bread. It doesn't have to have no sugar. It doesn't have to be gluten-free, wheat-free, vegan-free, cruelty-free. No, I like my fish with cruelty. No, I'm joking. This is my favorite intro. Game Theory isn't as good. If I had long hair, I'd...
Hello, Internet. Welcome to Food
I'm getting a haircut
Theory.
tomorrow,
Don't
so
forget to sub.
no shaking my
Theorists,
hair.
today we're having a cold cut convo about Subway, the world's largest quote-unquote sandwich chain. And I'm putting sandwich in quotes here because as anyone who's tried the entire menu already knows, Subway
There's
is
pizza
really
and soup.
just an amazing...
You can get pizza there. Okay, the sliders are pretty good. I know my friend who requests a lot of like horror games I'm playing. Like a lot of her requests I do for videos, like games and stuff. He requested Minecraft. I don't know if I'm gonna do Minecraft because the only updated Minecraft I have, the only Minecraft I have is on the Xbox, and I don't know how to record on it, even though I'm using the Xbox recorder, but it's on a PC. I don't know how to. I mean, I know how to sign in, but I just don't. I'll try to see what I can do, but yeah. He eats the sliders. I tried the sliders. Personally, they're not really me. I like my custom sandwich, but they got soups. Bread. You can literally eat plain bread, and they got pizzas.
Masquerading as
Yeah,
a
they got
sandwich
cookies.
restaurant.
I don't eat the
Seriously,
cookies
those things
because
are delicious.
macadamia nuts, and I'm allergic to
Recent
nuts,
events have thrown
and
Subway's status as a sandwich
they
chain
make
into
they
question.
have
If you
they
watched
use the
Food
same
Dave's
bowls and
definitive episode on
everything.
What makes a sandwich a sandwich?
So.
Then you know the following must be true. A sandwich must legally consist of 2 pieces of bread. Of course, sub sandwiches are a bit problematic because they're served on a single split roll.
Oh.
Personally, I could go either way on that one, but I don't write the sandwich rules here, people. I just meticulously research them. Besides, I'm not here to split hairs about split rolls when a far more shocking revelation about Subway has recently come to light. Their bread may not actually be
It is bread.
Reportedly,
There's
Subway's
pumpkin
famous
bread.
9-grain
Don't come
multi-seed,
here
9
saying in my house it's
grain
not
wheat,
bread.
Italian
Shut
herbs
up.
and cheese,
It is.
Italian white, hearty Italian, and honey oat bread varieties aren't actually bread at all.
No,
At least
he's
that's according
wrong.
to one ruling from the Supreme Court of Ireland. Okay, so I'll be honest.
Supreme
a couple weeks ago
Court.
when I first saw this article appear in my feed, I dismissed it as clickbait. I mean, it is a huge accusation.
Yeah.
Subway's bread isn't bread.
I searched it up and there are tons of
insane.
videos talking about it.
Well, honestly, it sounds kind of like a title of a Food Theory episode. But the algorithm definitely has me pegged as a sandwich boy, and I kept getting served this particular article again and again and again to the point where I just had to read it. And let me tell you, the Irish Supreme Court makes some really interesting
Yeah, green
important
hair.
points about
It's
bread
Jack.
classification. And not only
Good
does
morning,
their
you
decision affect
laddies.
Subway restaurants,
I'm a little
it could
bit
affect
Irish,
a whole
actually.
lot of other foods and people and
I'm
companies
more
out there. But never
Trinidadian.
fear, theorists. We're getting to the bottom
That's
of this
like-
doughy
that's
dilemma
like
right
the
now
Philippines.
because we need
I mean, no,
answers
Caribbean,
with a
you know.
capital K.
So, meow,
Does
meow.
Subway
Hey, hey,
actually
walking
serve
on the
bread,
side,
or have they
you
been
know.
lying to us all these years? And if it's not actually bread, then what kind of unholy creation have they been feeding us? Now, let's start off by
Unholy
acknowledging that
creation,
this is the first
no.
time Subway has gotten into trouble
Subway
over their
is
bread.
holy.
Fun fact, if you
Oh
go
my
to Subway's
gosh,
own website,
CGI
they have a
cop.
page where they
It's
document all the
2020.
changes that they've made to their bread products. According to Subway
Oh my gosh, it's
themselves,
2020.
in
We gotta
2014,
burn
they,
buildings
quote,
down because I
increased
saw
whole
that.
grains
The
and
racist
removed
number.
caramel coloring from 9-grain wheat bread. Each 9-grain footlong now contains 100% of the whole grain requirement recognized by the Whole Grains Council and the
Need me
Whole
fact
Grain
check.
Stamp.
No,
End quote.
I need to check
Let's
something.
just take a moment to appreciate the marketing spin that we just witnessed in that second sentence there. See, the Whole Grains Stamp that Subway is so proudly promoting actually has a few different levels. If there's some whole grains in your food, you might be allowed to display the basic stamp. If over half the grains in your food is whole grain, you get to use the 50% plus whole grain stamp. And if your food contains all whole grains, then you earn the coveted 100% whole grain stamp. Now, from Subway's blurb about their 9-grain footlong, we can see that their 9-grain bread has qualified for the 100% whole grain stamp, right? Wrong! They're tricking us with language. Subway is cleverly disguising the fact that they merely added enough whole grain to their recipe in order to qualify it for the 50% plus stamp by saying that their bread now contains 100% of the whole grain requirement for that 50% stamp. Now, why would Subway care about inflating the appearance of whole grains in their bread? Honestly, because it gives them the appearance of being healthier. The term whole grain means that every part of the grain seed, the bran, germ, and endosperm are all ground into the flour. Whole grain flour therefore contains more fiber and nutrients than other
Sorry, I
flours
had to
that
check
don't
something.
include every part of the
But I was
seed, and
listening.
health-conscious individuals seek out whole grain products as a result. The cost
Yeah,
of being the
whole
healthier
grain
option, though,
bread.
is taste. So
And
basically,
it's
Subway is trying to get the street cred of being super healthy while
That-
maintaining that.
see, the
typical-
thing is, when kids say, "Oh, I don't want to eat the bread," if it's normal white bread, I'll eat the crust. Normal whole grain. Sometimes I'll eat the crust. But the thing is, I don't like the
bread that gets
seeds.
people coming back for more. You can
Nasty.
say that they're
I'd rather
trying
eat
to
the
have their
donut.
cake-like bread and eat it too. The caramel coloring, the name 9-grain bread, even the messaging around changes to the recipe are all designed to present Subway sandwiches as being healthier than they actually
Wheat
are.
bread.
And Subway is by no means the only one doing stuff like this. Here's a food theory smart shopping tip for you. If you actually care about having whole grain bread or just healthier bread, make sure you're buying bread that's labeled as whole grain, which is a label based on how much of it is actually made from whole grains, and not just settling for multi-grain bread, which
No,
is
we
a
don't have
misleading
multi.
marketing term that sounds healthier but doesn't actually tell you anything about how much grain content the bread actually has. So as it turns out, Subway has a weirdly rich history of bread-related controversies. They've lied about the ingredients in their bread, they've lied about the length of their bread, and now here in 2020 they might even be lying about it being bread in the first place. Which leads us to the question that brought us here today. Why is the status of Subway's bread up for interpretation? What's Ireland got against delicious bread? What horrific
What's
thing
wrong
have they
with
uncovered
their
about
bread?
Subway? Well,
When you got a Subway, I bet you're a Jimmy John's person. Jimmy John's.
In Ireland, they have
Okay,
something that's called a
I
VAT,
have to
a
say
value-added tax.
You can have
applied to
Jimmy
all
John's, okay?
purchases. Or I guess I should say
You can have Jimmy
most
John's.
purchases.
You can
Now,
like whatever
a lot
you
of
like.
other countries have something
But
similar to
you
it.
gotta admit,
Generally speaking,
Subway,
the aim is to
Jimmy
take the tax
John's,
burden off of people buying groceries that are truly
they
essential
don't
and put
make
more
you make a
tax burden on
custom
people who are
sandwich.
splurging for things
I want
like
my
sweet and prepared meals. In the US, for
sandwich.
instance,
I want my
every state has its own
sandwich.
variation
I
of
want
which
my
items get taxed
sandwich,
more
as
and
some
which
people
get
say.
taxed less. And as you can see, it's kind of tough to categorize foods in a succinct way. Terms like food for home consumption and general groceries leave room for interpretation. And so you sometimes wind up with weird scenarios like this one in California, where hot and toasted Subway sandwiches come with a sales tax, but cold sandwiches don't. Needless to say, companies like Subway stand to make more money if they can avoid taxes wherever there's a legal gray area of this sort of nature. And in Ireland, Subway stands to save on taxes if they can convince the country to classify their sandwiches as VAT-exempt staple foods. The logic here is that sandwiches are bread. Bread is a staple food. Therefore, getting a sandwich to go from your local Subway is just like getting food from the grocery store, and therefore shouldn't incur the value-added tax. So claims Subway. The counter-argument coming from 5 of the Supreme Court's 9 judges is that Subway's bread isn't bread, at least in the way that tax law defines it. Remember that Subway isn't just claiming that their bread is bread from a culinary standpoint, but from a tax-exempt legal standpoint. They're claiming that their bread qualifies as a staple food. But in Ireland, the Finance Act of 1985 states that the total weight of...
See, I saw a bunch of videos about it. Like, I saw, like, thumbnails. Like, it was, like, this thing was, like, 2 weeks ago. But the thing is, that's in Ireland. In America, I think everything's different.
Can't add up to more than 2% of the weight of the flour. And in Subway's bread, sugar makes up as much as 10% the weight of the flour. And I know that I've been dunking on Subway a lot in this episode, but it's not as though they're the only ones putting sugar in their bread. For example, a 6-inch 9-grain wheat bread from Subway contains about 3 grams of sugar. Meanwhile, their competitor Quiznos
has a
has
weight
8
under my
grams
desk.
of sugar in their regular size.
And I was bouncing on my
which is
foot because I'm
approximately
dumb.
9 inches in length. So Subway definitely wouldn't be the only restaurant affected by the Supreme Court's decision, which is essentially saying that just because something is called bread doesn't mean that it's a staple food. For instance, banana bread has bread in the name, but it's sweet, something closer to a dessert. Like
banana bread. It has like banana bread. I think this is either a different banana bread, but the banana bread I make, bananas in it. And chocolate chips. I mean, I put chocolate chips in my banana bread. I eat pumpkin bread.
Cinnamon bread,
cinnamon bread's really good.
Autumnal classic pumpkin bread. There are all kinds of sweet breads out there, and I do want to be clear that I'm saying sweet bread, 2 words, and not sweet bread, single word, which is actually a culinary term for the meat made by the thymus or pancreas of a lamb. You heard that space when I said it, right? Because the waiter a few years ago did not hear it when I said it, and let's just say I wound up with a very unexpected meal. Anyway, when you think about it, a lot of these sweet breads out there, and I do want to... To be clear that I'm saying sweet bread, 2 words, and not sweet bread, single word, which is actually a culinary term for the meat made by the thymus or pancreas of a lamb. You heard that space when I said it, right? Because the waiter a few years ago did not hear it when I said it, and let's just say I wound up with a very unexpected meal. Anyway, when you think about it, a lot of these so-called breads have more in common with cake than they do bread. You could get into the argument that the difference between cake and bread comes down to leavening techniques, but even that gets into sticky territory when you realize that not all cakes are leavened in the same way, and some breads aren't even leavened at all, as any fan of flatbreads can tell you. And yes, technically there are leavened flatbreads. The distinction between bread and cake is impossibly complicated. And so in 1972, the Irish legal system came up with a simple
pancakes taste like
if
cake.
the sugar, fat, and bread improver content goes
no.
over 2% of what the
I was gonna say that pancakes
then you're not
are
a bread that
technically
would qualify for
cake, but I was gonna say that cake has frosting on it.
Bread if you want to, but it's good
But
to tax like confectionery
pancakes
or
is
dessert.
technically
Or
a
as
cake.
Marie Antoinette
I love
said,
pancakes.
if the people can't have bread, then let them eat cake and pay the value-added tax on every purchase of said cake. It also tells us that while this might be bread
yes,
from a
it is
culinary
me,
standpoint,
Queen
it means that
Elizabeth
Doctors
of the
Associates
country
Inc.
of
isn't serving up food
England.
that's as healthy as they want us to think. Oh, sorry, is that name unfamiliar to you?
What?
Because Doctors Associates Inc. is actually the name of the company that operates as Subway in the
What?
US. Not making that one up. I don't know why, but of all the facts that we've talked about in this episode, this one makes me feel the most icky. The small upside for Subway is that
Doctors
while
are
their
making
bread doesn't
my-
qualify for the zero
So,
rate VAT, it does
I
qualify for
work
the
at
reduced
Subway,
rate VAT.
I'm a
According to a
doctor.
website run by the Irish
God, I'm
Revenue
not saying
Commissioners,
that.
which is basically their version of the IRS for all you American viewers out there. Bakery
Good
products
America.
other than bread qualify for
Don't
this
take
rate.
my
But
mouth,
here's the
don't
face
do to me.
turn, people. Here's where I jump in and defend Doctors Associates Inc. I'm on their side. The Ireland court is correct in saying that it's following Irish law, but Irish law is the outlier here. Just take it from their neighbors in Northern Ireland and the rest of Great Britain, where the
United
Bread and
Kingdom.
Flour Regulations 1998 define bread much more simply as food that, quote, consists of a dough made from flour and water with or without other ingredients, which has been fermented by yeast or otherwise leavened and subsequently baked or partly baked. Criteria that Subway's bread would most definitely qualify for. Oh, and part of the requirement is also that it, quote, is usually known as bread, which I guess is there to keep you from taking a cake and calling it bread. Ireland did win their independence from Great Britain in the early 20th century, so they're free to choose to define bread however
I don't know why,
But a set
whenever
of
I
tax
hear
laws
Britain.
passed in the 1970s and reified in the 80s are starting to look a bit
70s.
outdated and also a bit close-minded when you realize that even the staple food definition of bread excludes many types of breads that are considered dietary staples in other parts of the world. Take, for example, Japanese milk bread, whose sugar
Tortillas.
content is upwards of 20% the weight of the flour it contains, and unlike, say, banana bread or pumpkin bread, which are separate confectionery items, milk bread is most definitely used as a sandwich bread. And
I
what's
don't
more,
know.
the tax legislation's definition of the word bread
Okay,
doesn't match how
I'm
the
all over
world
the place
uses
today.
that term,
Please.
including in Ireland itself. Numerous pieces of Irish legislation
Bless me.
including Ireland's
It's gotta
health
end
regulations
fast.
of 1994, actually define bread much more generously. Quote, bread includes the following and any part of the following: baps, bread rolls, fancy bread, milk bread, malt bread, and fruit bread. Now, aside from the fact that a
I've
bap
never
is
tried
the
that.
most
I've never even
famously
heard of
sounding
it.
bread product this American has ever heard of, let's take a moment to acknowledge that milk bread, the very same super sugary staple that we were discussing moments ago, is specifically defined as bread in this Irish Act passed by the Minister for Health in consultation with the
cancellation
Minister for
attack.
Agriculture,
No,
Food, and Forestry. And I'm not sure about you, but that's who I'd be looking to for my definition of bread way before I talk to a tax commissioner. In short, by Irish tax law definition, Subway's bread is not bread, but by food theory's bread definition, it most certainly still is, even if you're in Ireland. And if Ireland has a problem with that, well, they can just go ahead and take it up with Ireland. But hey, have you ever aspired to be a true sandwich artist? Or heck, maybe you're looking for a community that'll push you to be a better writer. Maybe you want to start a YouTube channel, but you don't have the video production or editing know-how of where to start. Well, my friend,
No ads. I'm sorry, Pats. We have to no ads. Anyway, hope you guys enjoy this video. I love this video. Yeah, so it is bread. So never come to me or come to my house. Well, I don't know why you come to my house. Please don't. But don't come up to me in the comments saying pancakes are technically bread. Like, no, pancakes have cake in it, so it's a cake. I don't know, it's confusing. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Eat your Subway, eat your vegetables. Bye bye, and don't be vegan unless you want to. And cancel the vegan teacher. Bye bye.